What's going on, guys? Impromptu video here today. Um, no debate clip today. This is outside of my regular Friday schedule. I wanted to talk about something that has happened and address it under 10 minutes, hopefully. I did an hour-long video on this last night, and I was like, yeah, this is way too long. I spent too long on this. And I want to keep this as concise as I can and approach it as maturely as I can. And if I make a whole hour video on this, I feel like it's not the most mature way to approach it. So basically, to bring everyone up to speed, I did a live stream on my second channel, the Johnny Apologetics Library, about Saturday, I believe. Maybe it was Friday. I don't remember the exact day. But I was responding to Common Sense Christianity, particularly reviewing a conversation I had with him about 2 months ago, and we were talking essentially about hermeneutics. And the reason being was I felt like from our first conversation, the major problem, which I should have pressed more, was how to derive truth from Scripture. Because I was quoting to him things like Matthew 28:19, fine. But when I engaged just by talking about the Bible and what the Bible teaches, he had an easy way to rule out anything I would say. And that is just to say, well, that's not a teaching, or just circle back to John 17:3 and say, well, that's a real teaching. What you're giving me is vague, or something along those lines, right? And you can watch both those conversations. They're both publicly available. You can see my review on that. I'll try to link everything I can in the description. All of that is it's there, right? You can see how things went in the first conversation and second conversation. So and just recently I decided, you know what? Let's do a stream today. It was Saturday. I remember it was Saturday. Um, I wanted to do that to review that conversation because I'm trying to do more live streams on that second channel just to, produce more content on it so I can clip those live streams for later. It's supposed to be like academic stuff. And I thought nothing of it. I just did the stream, and then left it at that. Then yesterday, which was Tuesday, the 18th, I woke up to a notification that he responded. I'm like, oh, great. I got my first ever response video on YouTube. Let's check it out. And to say this as respectfully as I can, I was disappointed with what I saw. Majority of the video was things that were repeated that I had already addressed in the live stream. There were a couple points that I could have pointed out. For instance, he said in the video around the 5 minute 30 mark that if you can't show me a teaching of the Trinity in the Bible, then I don't care about hermeneutics. So there's like minor points I could have addressed that were, um, you know, alarming to say the least for someone to say something like that. But, uh, you know, that was about it. That was about all. I did record a video for that, but I think I'm going to scrap it and do something else with it for the library channel. But needless to say, it was not the best response that I have seen on YouTube. But anyways, I left a comment saying, hey, I'm going to try to do a short response, just so you know this is what it's going to probably look like. And after a bit of back and forth in the comment replies, which weren't like us debating, we were just kind of exchanging, okay, cool. He said, let's do a debate. Uh, is the Trinity explicitly taught in the Bible? Uh, Here's my email, which I already had his email. I didn't need him to give it to me, but he probably doesn't remember. That's fine. I'm a nobody, so I don't need everybody to remember their interaction with me. But anyways, I told him I'll try, but I don't think it's gonna work out. And reason being, the topic he chose was it was not going to be a good debate if we did that topic. Um, and the reason is, if you know at all what I've been pressing him on, it's been his entire methodology on how to interpret the Bible and how to derive truth from Scripture. I find it to be a flawed method. So that's what I was particularly pressing in the live stream in that conversation. I have no problem talking about whether the Trinity is in the Bible, but with someone that has such a different methodology than me, my thinking was either A, he's gonna just continue to press me on that and I'm gonna show him verses and he's gonna rule them all out, or B, I'm gonna do the responsible thing and press him epistemically, meaning like on his way that he gets knowledge from Scripture, And then the people that came to see us talk about the Trinity are going to see us talking about hermeneutics, which I don't think they came to see. I think that's assumed within the debate that we have a hermeneutical set of principles in order to interpret the Bible. That's assumed, right? They didn't come to see us debate that. That should be already resolved. So, yeah. Uh, I proposed another topic in the email. I said, hey, I'm happy to debate you. I'm not afraid. But let's do a different topic. Let's just say, let's talk about an exegetical passage so that way we can both engage the text and not get into all these side issues that no one wants to see in the live debate. So I said, let's talk about either John 1, Hebrews 1, or you can bring a passage that you would rather discuss. And to be completely fair to him, I even said, I will give you my argumentation beforehand, either in a video or a Google Doc or Google Slides, whatever. I will show you how I argue from that passage so you can have time to prepare and see what I actually say. I think that's fair. And I'm not gonna show I'm not gonna show the emails on the screen as of right now. I don't think I need to. I want to respect the privacy of our conversation. But what I will say is he accused me of making excuses, saying, "Oh, this is not hard," and "Oh, you just can't show me a Trinity or teaching," and that I'm not seeking truth and things along those lines. And I was like, "All right, well, if that's what you think, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to proceed forward with this debate until we can come to an agreement. So you can believe what you want about me. That's fine. I'm going to make my final video and then leave it at that. You're always welcome to come back and accept the topic that I proposed." So, anyways, I was on day threes and TNC's live stream last night reviewing a debate that On Day 3 and Reexamination Show had. Sorry, my back. And obviously, I was crashing out during the review because of some of the things that their opponents were saying. I was like, what in the world does that mean? Pick up a theology textbook, please. Things like that. You know, the typical shenanigans that go on in those streams. But anyways, in the middle of it, like 30 minutes before I had to leave, because this area was taken, my brother was going to do his stuff here, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. Um, I saw a notification on my phone saying another tag from Common Sense Christianity, or CM. I'm gonna call him CM just for short. That's what he calls himself for short. He did another response to me, which was the final response. And I think the way he approached it, and again, I'm saying this with all due respect, it was a very immature response. It's a very immature response. Um, it was seemed like it was meant to belittle me and make me look like a fool, which I don't care if someone wants to insult me. I really like. You can make 50 videos about songs about me or AI clips, but I don't care. But given the context of what was going on, it's not a good look if you're gonna start the video with two AI clips about me that don't represent my position. As funny as they were, like seriously, they were funny, but at the end of the day, it's not a good look. If you want to share things with me in private, just to, like, if I know you well enough, I'm fine. Even if you're a Muslim or a Unitarian or whatever, if I know you well enough, then I'm not gonna say anything bad about it. Like, I know who you are, I understand that. I don't know this guy personally well enough. I've spoken to him on live stream 2 times. That's it. I don't know him that much. So when someone like that pokes fun at me, I, especially in the context of where we are, I don't take that as, hey, he's just poking fun. I take that as it's an attempt to defame my character, slander me, publicly humiliate me, and I love to keep things respectful, but I don't let people push me around. Okay, so uh, full disclosure. But anyways, AI clips aside that don't represent my actual beliefs. He spent about 5 minutes just talking about how I couldn't show a Trinity. I think he said I'm brainwashed, something along those lines. That I needed to come to the truth, yada yada. Needless to say, neither one of his 2 videos actually addressed a single thing I said in the live stream. Not one of my arguments were addressed. They were kind of ruled off as irrelevant. But the thing is, if we're talking about if we're talking about what the Bible teaches, by definition, hermeneutics is going to be a fundamental key aspect to it by definition. So I don't think I was unreasonable in anything I proposed, anything I said in the live stream. In fact, he said himself, I mean, in this first video, they didn't watch all the live stream. I don't know how much of it he watched. It seemed like it was paused at the 22-minute mark, which it's gets some decent material, I think, from the stream, but not all of it. And that was, I think, problematic if he was going to make a response without watching at least a significant portion or explain what he's responding to specifically. It doesn't give me enough information in that regard, but anyways. So he kind of just ended with that. And needless to say, I think these were just attempts to make me look bad and hide from the fact that he wasn't actually able to respond to anything I said. If you just don't have time to watch my stream, I get it. You don't need to. But in that point, I wouldn't have brought anything up in the first place. Like, I genuinely would have just ignored it. It was sitting at 27 views, I think. It's just like not even a big deal. But anyways, so yeah. I find that, and I don't want to speculate too much, but I find that the reason he proposed the debate topic the way he did was to avoid having to talk about the hermeneutics by putting me in a corner like either you accept this or you're running. I don't know that for sure. I'm not going to make that accusation, but I have a speculation that that may have been why. I won't go too much deeper into that. That's for him to say whether he did that or not. I'm not going to make that accusation, but that's something I am concerned about given the way he approached the debate topic and was very unreasonable. Let me put this over here. I'm sorry. Uh, Very unreasonable with me, um, with how I was trying to negotiate it. And then obviously, again, another AI clip that doesn't really accurately represent my positions at all. They were kind of funny. The last one, especially, I kind of cracked up at me jumping into the water. I don't know what that was about. It was funny, but I was like, what does that have to do with anything? But anyways, just for full disclosure, this is just a quick video. I will do a response on my second channel, but this is not going to be directed particularly to CM. This will just be general responses to some objections I may have received to my live stream, and I may come up with my own objections as well, um, just to keep that academically focused rather than, you know, uh, drama focused. So yeah, this is my final response. He made his final response. I wanted to make my final response just for full disclosure. I'm going to leave it at that. I have better things to focus on than people making AI videos about me. If you want to keep doing that, be my guest. I'm not going to call you out. I do ask you, though, please stop tagging me and stuff, because if it's not about me, I don't need to see it, really. I don't need to know that you posted it. Um, it's distracting when people notify me about things that have nothing to do with me. Like, I get this all the time on Discord messages of people, um, you know, tagging me or tagging something that will notify me, and it's nothing to do with me. So it's distracting. Please don't do that. Um, and I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't know if there's a way to turn that off, like to block someone on that if I need to, but I don't. I hope I won't need to. But anyways, we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna try to focus on other content, hopefully, after this. If if anything, if I need to make another video, I will. But Lord willing, I won't need to. At most, if he makes like AI clips about me, I'm not like, okay, whatever, right? It's not that big of a deal. Life will go on. An AI clip about me jumping into the water isn't gonna end my channel. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Um, have a blessed day. And Johnny Apologetics, signing off.